Good morning. Still not early enough. I don't know what the heck is going on. I woke up at 6:30. By the time I got my cover, prepared for this live, which, I got to go and fix all this stuff as I'm speaking because I really don't have, what the world? Really don't have somebody that does it for me. So, I've got to be multitasking without a doubt. This morning, it seems like we already got Amber. Looks like we may have a Amber alert already this morning. So Kathleen Pryor and her son Kane have been reported missing. Pryor lost custody of Kane through the PA court system and left the Chambersburg area before turning Kane over to the new custodian. It is believed that Pryor and Kane may be in Hagerstown area. Apparently, she's addicted to methamphetamines, and her mother was awarded custody. Anyone with information on Pryor's whereabouts are asked to call non-emergency number 240-313-4345. For those that want to know, there are the two people that we are looking at for this morning, Kane and his mother, which apparently is a meth addict. These drugs, they just destroy people's lives. We see it all too often that unfortunately the majority of people that are utilizing these drugs, unfortunately just don't make it. I mean, they do terrible things to people for their drugs. They do terrible things to their lives for drugs. They really just don't care about anybody around them. And it's just a sad thing. I don't know what is going on with this. I gotta start making these things smaller. So at any rate, we're talking about the KYCRY case, which is Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. And they have, they were a LBGTQ couple that ended up viewing the van life after they got married. They were they met out on the Moab, hiking in Moab anyways. And what had happened is something happened to Kylan Schulte back in Billings, Montana. And her father, or in Montana, I'm not sure if it's specifically Billings or not. And her father was moving to Moab, Utah, and asked his daughter, if she'd like to come with him. And on the trail back in 2019, 2019, they decided to go ahead and, she ended up meeting Crystal Turner. And apparently from what we hear is they absolutely fell madly in love with each other and just had this beautiful, beautiful relationship. And most recently decided to go ahead and tie the knot on April 20th, I believe, 2021, maybe 2020. I'm not sure. I don't have my dates absolutely specific, so I do apologize about that. However, from what people described, their love was by far none that anybody could have ever explained. They were just beautiful, beautiful people. People described them as always there, dependable, reliable, never missed a day of work. Just really loved life. And if they could help anybody, they literally would. They would give the shirt off their back if they could. And that is really the everything that we know about them, just being so kind and so beautiful and so good. And we were very fortunate to have, I don't know why it's not monetizing properly, to meet their friends there, primarily McDonald's, because we didn't get a whole lot of cooperation from Moonflower. Anyways, when we had gone out there, we had, already done our due diligence. We worked with some PIs, a friend from Canada. I don't know if she's on here. She does follow me quite a bit. I love her to death. Her name's Jenny. And she was able to peddle us a lot of information. We had some, people that appeared to be friends of the family, but has since blocked me, blocked my team, and actually blocked the cousin of Kylan Schulte, or sorry, Crystal Turner, that lives in Arkansas. So we've lost full and total respect for that person, and she knows who she is. She actually responded to our video on Twitter, and it's like, you know what? I could care less about you. I really have no value in your opinion, whether good or bad. That's, you know, we don't play that. We don't play that. You know, so good morning, everyone. If you haven't already, get your cup of coffee. Oh, before we get started, since we don't have a whole lot of people in here right now, I wanted to show you guys a couple things. I did actually roll out. Why is this thing not working? Guys, I need to get a new computer. This is driving me absolutely insanity. Just insane. I am going insane in the membrane over this stupid computer. It's been dropped. I need to call Southwest and find out what in the world they're planning on doing about my brand new computer that they crushed the whole side of it. And now I'm having all these issues with it. And my warranty is now gone because they crushed the whole side of my computer. Irritating. Just completely, utterly irritating, I gotta say. Did I put them in here? Yes, I did. So I know we have been talking about this. I wanted to show you. It is stuff related to our coffee club. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. However, I did go ahead and throw some up in the shop, the digital shop that we have. So let me go over here to our Teespring shop. I wish they had something. I realize, you know, I'm a penny pincher, and I really like things that are affordable and, you know, reasonable and yada, 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 yada. Okay. Right. But however, it is what it is, because this is like almost like a fundraiser type thing. So things are a little more expensive because the people that make these products have to make money. And then of course I've got to make money, you know, for some of the stuff, but I did want to show you what we were able to do, see if you guys like it. And then we'll go from there. I think you guys will. But I've got two designs. I could not figure out which one. So I'm actually making a product line for both of them. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, thank you, Dave. Yeah, I need to look into that. You know what? But it irritates me because Southwest should be buying it for me. They are the ones that crushed the side of my computer. I'm fortunate enough to know, or fortunate enough that they didn't affect the screen. But my computer is all metal, and I think it could be easily fixed if I had the metal casing. Just take the metal casing off and put a new metal casing on. But again, I shouldn't be responsible for that. Southwest should. I mean, they are the ones that dropped my computer. They crushed the whole side of my computer. I came out, had gotten back from Moab, Utah, and you know, I was about to call Jonathan. We were about to have a meeting with Jonathan and Olivia, and I pull it out, and it's like the first, my heart sunk. Like I had just bought this computer directly from Dell, you know, and it's a 2-in-1, and it's one that folds completely backwards. And I do that because, you know, sometimes I'm crunched into a little spot, sometimes have a bigger spot, sometimes need to balance the computer. And I find out having that adjustment with the screen, I'm able to do that. I'm able to flip it upside down and make almost the keyboard as its stand. But either way, let's go in here. Let's see what Andrea has been up to. What have I been up to? So these are the, I made a couple different ones. I made some transparent. Oh, why isn't it not? I made some transparent. Let's see if they'll open these things. Let me open Sesame. So there is one coffee club. So here's the full screen. So there's one that I did, and I haven't uploaded this one quite yet. Here's the other one. See, we did a little coffee club. See that? And I did a couple different renditions of it. So we got the one with the gray, the inverted, and then we got the one with that one. I do kind of like that one. But it's a work in progress. I'm not completely done with the design yet, but I thought I'd let you guys know that I did promise I was going to work on it, and I did work on it. So, and I wanted to show you that we do have some products already in. If you like one of the, we already have some products in. I wish they would do. So I wish they had like a virtual, way to show you everything, but they don't. There it is. So I've already got one already uploaded in the designs. We got some shirts, mostly coffee cups. So there it is. And it's the one that says coffee on it in the thing. And I even prepared the wine glass as promised. So that's the design that I decided to upload so far. It doesn't mean the other coffee cup with the coffee beans will be coming out. These are just the ones for those that do want to now get your coffee mug, Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club coffee mug. They are now available. So did want to show you that. I thank you all for all your support. There are going to be other coffee designs that are going to be coming up. Primarily this one here, just so that you know. So we're going to do one with this design here. So that's going to be another one if you like that more sleek, modern design of the coffee cup. This will be the other one that we are going to be rolling out with. So you'll have two different options for your coffee club stuff. Yep. So, oh, good. I hope you do get a hoodie. Those hoodies, Marissa has them. I need to purchase mine. I've got to purchase, like I said, I literally have to purchase the same way you guys do. I don't get a discount. I don't get free products from this thing. So I literally have to go in here and purchase my stuff. And I am going to be purchasing a hoodie too. I'm going to be purchasing a hoodie. I'm going to be purchasing a leggings. I love that little wine glass. That is by far my favorite wine glass ever. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I've got a heck of a, list of my own that I'm going to be purchasing from. I love the line of Bullhorn Betty stuff. I'm very impressed. I got to say, I impress myself every now and again. I gotta say, I do kind of impress myself every now and then. Is that okay? Is that being snooty? Is that being a snob? I don't know. I really don't. So good morning, everyone. If you guys have not gotten your coffee, please go get your coffee and come back here as soon as possible. We are going to get this show on the road here shortly. I know we've been talking a lot about Kylan Schulte and Summer Wells, and now we're kind of flipping the switch, and we're kind of talking about Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. This is the second case that our team worked. Okay, this is we weren't. After Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, we kind of floundered around, so to speak. We floundered a little bit. Oh, thank you guys. If you guys love this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. I know we used to have a lot more people in here. I don't think it's anything that we have done. I truly believe that something happened to the notifications. We all heard about it. So what I need you guys to do is make sure you tell everybody that you got to go back in there and reset your bell, your notification bell. So on my page, you'll see the subscribe, you'll see the join, and you'll see like this little bell. And you need to turn that bell to none and turn that bell back to all. That is the only way that you're going to fix the problem of not being notified that I am going live. Now, many of you in here have already done that and already getting notified. That's why you guys are here and with me this morning. But you need to pass that off to your friends that watch me and your family that watches me, that we have got to fix that bell. There's a notification issue. I know there's been some technical difficulties going on with YouTube as a whole. Marissa was dealing with some issues related to it. I have been dealing with some issues related to it. I'm sure other creators are dealing with issues related to it. So for many of you that are not getting notifications that I'm going live or my videos that are going out, you need to go over to that notification me see if I can find it. Let me sign into a different account here real quick. Excuse me, and see if I can show you YouTube. Show you, that'd be great. Okay, let me just share my screen with you guys. So we are going to go to Bullhorn Betty. See, it's not even showing on here as being live on this one. You know, it's very irritating. So over here, you got the join me. You guys see that? Let me open this up too. And then right here has subscribed, which I'm subscribed. But again, this should be like in a red dot over here on this side. Like it should be like a red dot. It's not. I don't know what's going on with that. It's really starting to irritate me. But over here is your notification. So my suggestion is turning it to none and then turning it back to all. And that you'll get all notifications. So, you know, that's really where you want to be. But I'm still concerned about as to why. Let's go back to YouTube. See, it's not even showing. It should have a red dot next to it telling me that it's live, but it is showing it live here. So I don't know, guys. I think there's still something. Good morning, all. Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody is hit the thumbs up, dum-dums, jeez. I love it. I love you. You guys are by far, I think I got the best crew of people here first thing in the morning. I really do. I really do. I need to get up a little bit earlier. I've got to start getting up a little bit earlier. I don't know what's going on with me, guys. I really don't. I think it's because I have been seriously just working my tail end off. And, you know, I'm up. You guys see me here early in the morning. And like even last night, I didn't get off my live until almost 11 o'clock. And then, you know, by the time you wind down, it's tough. And I was getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. Like yesterday, I got up at 7:30. This morning, I wake up and I'm thinking, oh, great, I'm up early. The light's not even out. And I look at the clock and it's 6:30. And I'm like, what is going on with me? What in the world is going on with me? I need to be up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock because I got to prepare those little, you know, the covers of these things to kind of drive people's attention, get them in here and all this other stuff. So, oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So guys, if you guys hear or see or hear from Hush Puppy, I need Hush Puppy to reach out to me. I owe Hush Puppy. I actually think I'm going to buy a couple little swag items for Hush Puppy for the generous donation that was provided. And I just think I prayed over it and I think it's the right thing to do. So if you guys see Hush Puppy, make sure you let that person know they need to get a hold of me, please. You're tired, Andrew. You need a bubble bath and a facial day. I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. I could probably use a bubble bath and a facial, but a facial I have to do because when I moved into this house, there was no tub. It's only a stand-up shower. So no, unless I go to a hotel, there is no bubble bath for this girl in this house, unfortunately. Candace, I need to wake up too. Trust me. Trust me. I think they said LE has it. Vanny, I don't know what Vanny's question was. Let me go up here and just read. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it. Okay, for this case, Vanny, the weapon that was used is a 9mm gun. The law enforcement hasn't really been releasing this information. It's been coming primarily from Sean Paul Schulte and Jason Jensen, which are Sean Paul Schulte is Kylan Schulte's father. And Jason Jensen is the PI that is working for Sean Paul. He has given his time. He is doing this case pro se. He has put real money and real resources behind trying to find who injured Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. And, you know, there's a lot of rumors that are, you know, stirring about. And, you know, we're trying to be very respectful of the family, but we also want to get the information out to the public so they can start helping. There is some information that is in any case that, a lot of people really don't want to hear about, it's the ugly, the ugly in the cases. And, we try to be respectful of the family, because every time we talk about these cases, and the families are watching, it's hurting them. It's physically almost like putting a knife in their heart and twisting it, but they also know that this is an unsolved case, and we have to have awareness to these cases, and we have to bring them up, and we have to talk to them, and talk about them respectfully. But we have to tell our crew the whole everything. I mean, and we have to, because at some point, it's that little nugget of information that's going to blow the case wide open. This is an unsolved case. Okay. Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner are an unsolved case. And it's just, we want to help them as much as possible, but we're trying to be respectful of the family. We're trying to, provide a service. So the reason why I'm giving this disclaimer is because this is Kylan Schulte and this is Crystal Turner. There was several years difference in their age. So Kylan was 24 and I believe, and Crystal was 34. So there's a big age difference. I could be wrong about their ages. It's been a little minute since we handled the case. We were, this was just a little over a month ago. We were in Moab, Utah, taking care of business in that area. So let's see what we got going on here. Yes, that is true. Yes, that is true. Then they were a very beautiful couple. They were and I got to tell you guys, when we were out there and we spoke to anybody that actually knew these girls, I can't express enough the beautiful, loving words that were said. People loved these girls. These girls were their friends. They were, dependable, reliable. That's what you need in a friend. And for example, I know people don't like the use of drugs, even marijuana. However, their friends were like, if we ran out of marijuana, they would roll a joint and hand it to us. So there was marijuana. Everybody has their interpretation of what they consider drugs that are. Okay, I consider marijuana a weed. It grew out of the ground. It made people feel good, and the government decided to ban it and say it was illicit drugs. Okay, it's an herb. If you look at what an herb is, it's an herb. I mean, it's a bud. It's a spice. I mean, however you want to look at it, whatever. I'm not going to judge people for marijuana use. I'm just not going to do it. It's just, this day and age, we have so much more information about marijuana than we once did. The medicinal uses outweigh, the funny feeling. There's so many things that they can do. Illicit drugs to me is cocaine, methamphetamines, heroin, things that are of substance that are created by man. This is not created by man. This is created out of the earth. So again, while I don't utilize it, I have utilized marijuana in the past, primarily their lotions and stuff like that. I've told people that I've had neck surgery, and my best friend turned me on to a lotion because every now and again, my area in the back of my neck, I have problems with it. Some people use gummies, some people smoke it. I use this for truly medicinal purposes, and I love their creams and lotions. So at any rate, I just don't believe, if people are like, they're on drugs. I don't believe that that's just a drug. So I'm not going to classify that. These girls were, they like, Crystal had her past drug habit. Okay. It is my understanding from the information that I received being heels on the ground out in Moab, Utah, that she gave that up years ago, that her and Kylan literally changed their lives. They loved each other, and they just wanted a good, wholesome, life together. So much so, Crystal was ready. She wanted the house. She wanted the good job. She wanted to really take care of Kylan. That is what they wanted. So, these were just good, salt of the earth. They loved life, and they loved living that, free type of lifestyle. They loved being in the van life. But that van life obviously had some risks to it, and they have now resulted, showed the risks that they had accepted by taking that lifestyle. So it's unfortunate, and they did not deserve it. That's what I can tell you. They did not deserve it. And if anybody was watching me last night, I had said on multiple occasions that it's the number of shots in the area of this killing that make me believe that this is a local or somebody that has frequented this area a long time. In many cases, even gun banging, gang banging, gun related cases, you see people shooting at people as they are running away. When there are multiple shots being fired, you're seeing these people running in the opposite direction as they're firing their gun. In this case, when this was described to us, when we went out to the site, when we actually physically looked at the area, it appeared to me that Kylan Schulte, this beautiful young woman here, appeared to be been gunned down first and thrown in the water. Crystal was found further down this irrigation trough that they call a creek. So everybody was talking, they're near this creek. They were in this creek. It was not a creek. When we went there, it was an irrigation trough. It's like a 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot little stream that ran behind their campsite. It was filled with not mildew, but algae, cloudy. It was not conducive of that you would bathe in or, outside of washing your feet off, if they got muddy, you wouldn't be putting your body parts in this water. I mean, you just wouldn't. It's not water that you would drink from. It's not water you would bathe in. And I tell people that because they actually, because they were found declothed from their waist down, it is alleged that, they could have been bathing at the time or having an intimate moment of themselves at the time. There's a lot of speculation related to whether or why they were unrobed from the waist down. There is a potential for them to have been sexually assaulted. I've got potato, because we do receive information that they were, in fact, sexually assaulted. And then it was alleged that they were sexually assaulted. I have not received any confirmation from law enforcement specifically to tell me that they were, in fact, sexually assaulted. And I think that's key. And I don't know why that information in and of itself is being undisclosed to the public, because I think that information would be able to help identify who may have been responsible for their deaths. But again, I don't know. So the FAT page, media manager, Wells, okay, their arms were placed the same as Gabby's arms. I don't know if that's necessarily true. These I don't know where you got that. These girls were apart from each other when they were found, and Kylan Schulte was fully submerged in the water, from the eyewitness testimony that we had interviewed. No, Vape King, we do know. We know the whole truth about this whole relation with Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. So here is what their friend says. This is the friend. This is Crystal's best friend we spoke to. So what had happened is on the day that Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito had that altercation in front of Moonflower, Kylan Schulte was just clocking out of work. She was actually loading up into the van with Crystal at the time this altercation happened. And the reason why we know this happened and we know that they saw it is because they told their friend later that day that you'll never believe what they saw. They saw this guy beating the crap out of this beautiful girl, and that they hope that woman leaves that man. That was the conversation they had that afternoon with their friends. However, they didn't call the cops. They didn't get involved. They knew people from their store were already calling law enforcement. So they just let them handle it. They did not want to get involved. It was nothing in disrespect to them or, them being disrespectful to Gabby or Brian. They just knew law enforcement was on their way. There was no point in them themselves getting involved with that altercation, so they left the area. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie were not at Woody's bar. They were not there. They never ran it back into their path again. They never seen them again. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie moved on. They went toward the Arches, where they were pulled over. Brian Laundrie ended up going to the Bowen Motel under a separate name because he was considered the domestic violence victim. Sickening, right? So he was checked in at the Bowen Motel under an alias, and we can't determine or confirm where Gabby Petito slept for the night, or if she in fact did meet Brian at that hotel and sleep in the same room with him, even though they split them apart. So we know where these girls were, but we don't know where they were. The person that was at the blonde that was at Woody's bar, we have actually spoken with. It was one of their friends that came from work, and she was there at the bar. That was the girl that they were talking to. It was not Gabby Petito. There was no Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie in Woody's bar, okay? So that was misinformation. I don't know who peddled that misinformation, but it went around, the social media world like a firestorm. And unfortunately, it was misinformation. It was not true. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie never came in contact with them that we can confirm, other than the Moonflower incident. Moonflower is very particular. We'd really like to speak to some employees of the Moonflower where Kylan worked. I mean, it's very particular, in my opinion, and peculiar that the Moonflower is so uncooperative related to this case. Like, they seriously are, they don't want anything to do with it. They just want their friend that they worked next to them for 4 years is no longer coming back. She was senselessly murdered. And the people at the Moonflower want to get on with their life and act like this never happened. They don't want anything to do with this case. They don't want anything to do with her. They feel like they've done enough. They've answered enough questions. However, we go over to McDonald's, and these people will pour their heart out each and every time we come there to talk about Crystal. And they will tell us detailed information, things that would get them in trouble. But they don't care, because they want to make sure that the truth is out about these girls, that whatever they need to find these girls, whatever we need to do to eliminate them as persons of interest, here it all is. They throw it on the table. They give us 100%. And they just want to help their friends. Totally different personalities and love that they had for these two girls at McDonald's versus the Moonflower. I'm disgusted. And I have to say that publicly. I am disgusted with the employees and the personnel at the Moonflower. I would never in my life ever go there to spend 1 red cent in that store because of the way they treated the team, the way that they, even if you were getting death threats, you don't stop feeding information to people that could help find the murderer of your friend that you stood beside for 4 years and worked next to. That's murder. Remember, we heard that in Colin Knapp. He was trying to tell people, I've been getting death threats. That's why I'm not helping look for Kathleen Moore. No. You're a liar. You killed Kathleen Moore. You know exactly where her body is. And that's why you're not out looking for her. And nothing to do with the death threats. So it makes me very uncomfortable when we start hearing people, like, we deal with enough cases that we know people's personalities. We know how people react to certain information. And we know when we're getting close, when we're having the cops called on us, instead of the people looking for the missing or the dead. We start when they don't want to cooperate, when they don't want to speak, we know there's something there. Like, that's a telltale sign that there's something there. And I just feel like there's more to this story at that Moonflower. I really do. We've never been treated like that anywhere else except this one place. And it just so happens to be Kylan Schulte's place of employment, that she worked and stood next to these people for 4 flipping years. It's despicable. It's disgusting. I know Jonathan, he would be happy just to talk to somebody. He doesn't want to attack them. I don't want to attack them either. I really don't. But this is my opinion of the place. And I'm sorry, I can't help that opinion. I cannot help that opinion. Hopefully somebody proves this wrong. Hopefully somebody proves this wrong. If you guys want to, if you're a employee of the Moonflower, or you've worked with Kylan Schulte or Crystal Turner, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. If you have some relevant information, eyewitness testimony, anything that could help this case, I want to hear from you. I really do. But I'm just got to say, I was heartbroken over the treatment that people that were looking for their coworker, Kylan Schulte, this beautiful, she was beautiful. Look at her. She was beautiful. And they didn't even want to help. They didn't care. It's like, oh, but we planted flowers. Oh, great. I'm glad you guys got this hard to see makeshift memorial. I'm glad that's what you did for them. I'm glad. Kudos to you. Yeah, they did put up a fight. I can tell you that everybody that we talked to said that these girls could handle themselves. They were well equipped to handle themselves. Hey, Moon Shadow, I'm glad you got your butt out of bed. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. Oh, yes, we missed you. We missed you, Moon Shadow. It's nice to see you here. Thanks for coming. You can't fight bullets. No, you can't. Wicked Ways. You can't fight bullets. I think these girls could handle their own, but it's like bringing a knife to a gun battle. They were, I don't know if they were ambushed, but it does have some calling cards of that. We found somebody. People always try to say that we are not a benefit or a help to law enforcement, but we actually brought people that were not in the purview or on the radar of law enforcement to law enforcement and Jason Jensen. We handed over, because of this jackass, excuse my language, Lieutenant Pat Neal, or whatever his name, Kim Neal. He was a pompous guy that had his head on. His head was so freaking big that he could not accept the help of the people, primarily me and the team. We actually met with him. He just was very pompous. We actually, when we first met with him, as many of you know, we go to law enforcement before we do our due diligence, before we go out there and question witnesses, and he basically laughed us out of his office, right? And so we have this one witness, an eyewitness that not only saw the girls at Woody's, but was actually camping in and around the area that they were camping at that night, and actually heard gunshots. So we see Kim Neal, the lieutenant, walking across the street. So we're calling him, waving him down, and he refuses to even acknowledge our existence. So we ended up having to pass this information. Now, mind you, we were there in front of the lieutenant about this person. And we ended up having to reach out to Sean Paul Schulte through text and reach out to Jay Jensen through Messenger to give them this lead to give to law enforcement, because Lieutenant Kim Neal was so pompous, he wouldn't even talk to us a second time to receive a lead. That man needs to be fired. That is not law enforcement. That man took potential critical evidence in a double homicide and completely ignored it, and then ignored people that were trying to bring it to his attention in a double homicide. Kim Neal needs to lose his job. He is sitting there bilking that city out of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and not doing his damn job. He is a disgrace to the badge. A disgrace to the badge. In fact, I even called the district attorney to complain about his behavior. If people in here are from Utah and in Moab, you need to be demanding that man's resignation. He does not need to be in law enforcement. He's probably part of the reason this is still unsolved, because he doesn't listen. He knows everything. He doesn't need anybody's help. That is not conduct of law enforcement. It's not. It's not. We will be back out there. And, we hope that when the next time we go back out there, we're going to somebody's court case that's been charged with a murder. If not, we will be demanding Kim Neal's resignation. He is not fit to hold that office. He's not fit to get that kind of paycheck. Kim Neal, go ahead and start preparing your retirement paperwork now. You'll need it. You'll need it. Let's see what you have to say, Stormy. Good morning, Stormy. Yeah. I'm not sure what that. I came in halfway through the conversation, but yes, we want justice. All these cases. Brian Laundrie had nothing to do with Summer. He actually had nothing to do with these girls' death either, in my opinion. So, we just have one of these. I think the weirdest thing about this entire case is that these two girls, along with Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, all crossed paths at one time without them even knowing each other. And literally within 30 days, 3 of them had been murdered and 1 committed suicide. That gives me goosebumps. That is creepy. That is freaky. And that is exactly what happened. And it was literally a coincidence. I don't believe these girls here were killed or had any relation to what happened with Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. I really don't. I mean, we've looked at it. He's not removed. Brian Laundrie's not removed from the list, but he's so far down on the list, it makes it almost next to impossible for him to have been involved. However, we can't remove him from the list. So we can't remove him from the list until the other person is found. Unfortunately, it's untrue. He was not involved. Actually, I don't even think Brian Laundrie was in possession of a weapon. I don't think he was in possession of any kind of gun because he stole the gun from his parents' house after he returned home. So he didn't even have a gun on him. And he flew on, if you guys remember, Brian Laundrie actually flew home on a plane. He can't take a gun on a plane. He went, to clear out this storage locker, which makes no sense to me because it cost him more for the plane ticket to fly there and back than it was than the cost of the storage locker for another month. So it doesn't make sense to me why. I don't think that was a legitimate reason why he came back. I think they were fighting real bad. Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. There was just this spinning. Many people will talk about these events, these chain reaction events where people start spinning out of control. And he was kind of coming unhinged, especially in Moab, Utah, because that's where he started cracking. That's where he started not caring who saw what he was doing. And he started spiraling out of control, which led to Gabby Petito's death. And yeah, pretty much. We don't know what it was about. We don't know. I know that right now there's persons of interest. I mean, we went up there with 5 people of interest and we came back with 30 and pretty much eliminated all 5 of the people that we thought it was, or at least eliminated 3 people off that list. There's still I don't think the other 2 had anything to do with it that were on our original murder board, but we didn't speak to them and weren't able to conclusively eliminate them off of it. But, everybody that we went up there perceiving that could have possibly had something to do with their death, by the time we were done, in our opinion, had literally nothing to do with it. They're not off the list, but they're at the bottom of the list. We did find some much better people that law enforcement needed to speak to that they had not spoken with. And it comes back to this Kim Neal and maybe some other law enforcement there. First of all, as many of you, if you guys were on our live last night, Jonathan said that he believes, based upon 2020 data, that there was like 27 law enforcement on the team, that building was literally smaller than his house. I have to concur with that assessment. But the one thing that I have to say is that we were told by another person that they had lost like half of their sheriff force, I think they were down 12 to 15 sheriffs. This is very upsetting to me. This is problematic to me. I don't understand why the state police has not taken over this investigation. The FBI was involved, which they should be more involved than just processing evidence, because their death actually happened in a national park. That is federal land. Why is this bunky Grand County Sheriff's Office handling a double homicide when they don't even know whether to scratch their watch or wind their butt? And here we are having them run this thing, and you got somebody like Kim Neal, Lieutenant Kim Neal, that has his head on and it's blown up so big. He's going to solve this all by himself. He doesn't even need the public's help. This place is corrupt. Their politicians are corrupt. They're sucking the life out of that little town. And I hope that they start making some changes there. They are making 100% over the national average for people in their position. Their cost of living is through the roof. The politicians in that area have destroyed these people's lives, so much so that people are having to live out of vehicles. They're doing a disservice. We walk there with all the taxes and as expensive as that place is, and you're using a payphone to call for help. They have no infrastructure, no modern infrastructure. They're probably the only place that still has the last Radio Shack. Are you freaking kidding me? And these people are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. The politicians. Their politicians there make more than the politicians here in Manatee County, and we have a functioning county. It's sick. You know, the people need to stand up, rise up, and say enough's enough, and kick all those assholes out of office and put a whole new salt of the earth, people that are proper to run that place. And the people they have running that place suck. Start with Kim Neal. Get his ass out of there. Get his ass out of there. There's no reason. There's no reason for this stuff. And not only that, but they hide it. They're so corrupt, they're trying to hide these two people's double homicide because they're a tourist town. We need to make sure that this is spread out like wildfire. These girls deserved better than Moab, Utah. They deserve better. Thank God for their friends at McDonald's. I mean, thank God. You want to talk about a loving bunch of people? That McDonald's in Moab is a tight-knit family, and they love each other. They help each other through their struggles. They are family there. I don't know what to say about that freaking Moonflower. I really don't. I really don't. Yeah. Yeah. I really truly believe that. I really truly believe that. It is sad. These girls deserve better. They really did. And many of you guys know that, we've been working on stuff. So what happened here, we started rolling out episodes of Summer Wells before we started rolling out episodes with Gabby Petito. And of course, these beautiful, lovely ladies here, Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. But it was because, Olivia was trying to make the documentary, and I think she, didn't realize how much was involved with these. And then when we got to Summer Wells' case, we started thinking, how can we make this a little easier? Because now here's going to be a third documentary, explaining to people what we did and how we utilized their money. But the problem is that these were taking so long. So while we were up in Tennessee, I'm like, why don't we do episodes? She's got enough for Kylan, to do a couple episodes. I mean, she's going to have to do some modifications and adjustments for it. But she started working on Summer Wells because it's almost sometimes easier to start where you're at and work forward and then go back and start fixing the stuff in the past. So I think we're going to do this episode things. I think it's easier on Olivia. I think it's more impactful. It keeps people coming back to the pages for more information because as these things roll out, a lot of things that are in episode 1 of Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner have changed, but it's the beginning process of this case and the steps that we took. The people that we saw in the beginning as potential suspects or persons of interest, rather, are not the same people that we consider persons of interest later down the road. We did put a lot of energy, a lot of effort. We even went undercover to find the information necessary to help this case. We hit pay dirt. It just kind of sucks because literally the day that we are leaving Moab is literally the day that we literally get the mother load of information and new names. And it's like, it was so hard. We should have just stayed there another week, but we couldn't. The snow was coming in. It was getting cold. We weren't prepared to stay longer than what we had planned. And I wish we would have just bit the bullet and did it. But, many people don't realize that Jonathan has an animal at the house. And while his animal can, survive several days, it's like his little kid. So he doesn't like being away from his cat OJ too awful long. But I'm sure we could have made accommodations for this one time. But again, like I said, we were all so exhausted. I mean, we had been running. If people don't know what we were doing, I mean, we were there for almost from the 10th, from November 10th through the 17th. And we were up at like 4:30 every morning. We were hitting the ground bright and early. As soon as the sun came up, we were out there doing work, and we didn't stop until nighttime. And nighttime meant like 10, 11 o'clock. And then we'd go to sleep just enough time just to get enough sleep to wake up again at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to start getting ready to go out there and do our work. We were literally flagging people down that were walking on the side of the road to ask them if they, one, lived in the area, two, if they heard about the Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner murders, and three, if they know any information, and four, what they think happened and who they thought did it. It was very upsetting that there's not one flyer in this whole Moab area, not one flyer. Nobody has been asked to ask for help. They're all convinced by their own government in Moab, Utah, that there is not a murderer on the loose. And I beg to differ. There is a murderer on the loose on the streets of Moab, Utah that nobody's talking about. And they're putting other people's lives in danger. And they should be held accountable for that. They should not have their jobs. Thank you, Dolly's mom. Yeah. Dolly's mom, I will look into that. Thank you. Thank you so much for making sure that we get information. It's so important. I keep telling everybody, it's not necessarily just about, me or the team, because you guys are part of the team. Like our team, by having you guys all here, it grows leaps and bounds. So instead of us having just 4 of us investigating, we literally have tens of thousands of people investigating with us. It is a beautiful sight, and I want to thank each and every one of you that participate in there. And a good example is Dolly's mom. She's sending information on people in another case, but it's still helpful. It's still stuff that we can legitimately read. For those that know, we have already rolled out the line of Bullhorn Betty gear. Please stop by and get something, support a great cause, primarily this channel, and get something in return. If you don't want anything in return, you don't need anything, please consider donating to the Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. We appreciate all donations and all sponsors. If anybody, I always throw this out. Well, I don't always throw this out. I'm starting to throw this out there. We are looking for corporate sponsors. So if you're associated, the corporate sponsors, either we can look for corporate sponsors to financially help us, but we are looking for specific corporate sponsors, ones that have, that are like Southwest, Delta, flights, Hyatt, what is it? Quality Inn, all these different. So our 3 largest expenses to these cases is flight, room and board, and auto rental. So if we can find some corporate sponsors where we can advertise their names on our channel as we, roll out cases and roll out these beautiful productions, to help offset some of our costs, that would be amazing. So we are looking for corporate sponsors. to help offset, flight costs, hotel accommodations, as well as car rentals. So if anybody knows or is associated, I know we get people all over the world that watch our program. If you guys know or can help facilitate corporate sponsorship, I'm interested in learning about that and trying to promote that and get that out. We will definitely promote and advertise any corporate sponsor on our channel and on the channels across our teams if we can get them to help us to offset some of these costs. So just thought I'd throw that out there to you folks. If you guys can help with that, that would be amazing. Okay. Gotcha. That has to be done every now and again. Let's see what else we got going on here. Sorry guys, I'm a little behind. I'm not as far behind as I thought I would be. I'm only 16 minutes behind. Yes, Jenny, I believe that they should be audited. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We need to start pushing. Maybe we'll start getting Jonathan to get some record requests on them, more hard hitting. But, when we're dealing with these cases, we like to make sure our records requests are related to these cases. But, we have to start applying pressure. And sometimes applying pressure is going outside of the case and start, going after the people that are involved. And I truly believe Lieutenant Ken Neal is past his expiration date, and it's time for him to move on. So, yes, my sentiments exactly. My sentiments exactly. Good morning, True Crime Junkie 101. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. But good morning, True Crime. It's nice to have you in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's nice to have everybody in here. You guys are beautiful people, and without you, this channel would not be as successful as it is. So I'm really thankful for that. Our viewership is down, but I think it has a lot to do with the notification issue. So for the new people that are in here, if you have not been getting my live notifications, you need to go to my channel, and the bell that's next to it says, join, subscribe, and then it has a bell notification next to it. You need to go to that bell. You need to turn it to none, and then you need to turn it back to all. That should adjust those notifications. I'm monitoring the situation on my multiple accounts to see which ones are showing that I'm going live. Even this morning on my Bullhorn Betty account, but this isn't Bullhorn Betty, but it's on a different email. But my actual Bullhorn Betty Gmail account, I went there and it still didn't show that I was live. It didn't show my live rings, so it was very upsetting. I did, again, turn that notification off and turn that back on. Another option might be to unsubscribe and resubscribe. That sometimes triggers that bell to start working again. But let's just try turning it to none and then turning the bell back to all and seeing if that helps. We want to keep the viewership up, because when the viewership starts falling, that means the analytics start falling, and it's not good for the channel and the promotions and the way that it's ranked on YouTube. And we need to keep this growing. We need to keep growing leaps and bounds. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Have all your friends and family like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We are the people that go to the areas that actually, do investigative journalism on the ground in these areas. We are what they create the news about. So we want to make sure that you guys get it. When we're on a case, we go out there. We just don't sit here in the comfort of our home and commentate on other people's work. We are the work that people commentate on. So if you want the legitimate, unfiltered information, you come to my channel, Bullhorn Betty. You go to Molly Go Lightly. You go to Jonathan Lee Riches, or you go to Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia with Olivia Vital, which does beautiful productions for our team. So there's my 30-second elevator speech. Who? Joey, who? What did I miss? What did I miss? Tell me. Tell me what you think, what your thoughts are, please. There are no stupid thoughts. There's no stupid thoughts in this chat. This is where we get to brainstorm. This is where we find out new information. This is where you guys have an opportunity to feed us the information that we need to have. Please. So if you guys got information, we want to hear it. We need to pass this stuff on, you know? We got to get law enforcement off their duff and doing their job. When we go back there, we're bringing a mess of flyers. If this case still isn't solved, we're bringing a mess of flyers, and we're bringing extra, because I know now that we've been out there, we know people that live there that when these flyers are removed by their government, they can slap new flyers back up. We are not going to let these girls be silenced any more than they've been silenced, because they have a tourist destination. We want the tourists to know that they need to be vigilant so they can be safe, because you can't trust this law enforcement. They're ill-equipped to handle this double homicide. And God forbid if something happens to, say, a tourist. You know? It just ticks me off. Ticks me off. Yes, we do respect them, but there are some bad seeds. There are people that, we back the blue here at Bullhorn Betty, but I have a grind to pick, a bone to pick with that Lieutenant Kim Neal. It's a very specific law enforcement officer. It's not law enforcement in general. And many of you know, when I have bones to pick with law enforcement, I call that specific person out. I do not paint law enforcement with a very broad brush. I'm a very specific person. When somebody is doing wrong, I call them out. Ha! Yes. Yes, I was floored. They have more hotels. That's the problem. They're allowing their investors to build more hotels than homes. It's cheaper. It's cheaper for tourists. They like, the reason why there's no homes for these people is because people are using their homes for the Airbnbs, you know, and there's no homes available for the people that need them, that live there, that are running that, you know, the McDonald's employees, the Chevron employees, the hotel cleaners. There's no homes for them. This whole entire city does not know how to run a city. They all need to be fired. They need to start from scratch. Somebody needs to come up with a plan for this community, because the plan that they've got right now is not working. I can tell you that. I have been in politics long enough. I know a good politician when I see them. I know people that are corrupt when I see them. And when I go and look at their salaries in this town and see the crap that they're giving their residents, it is sickening. It's despicable, and what they're doing to their own citizens is reprehensible, and they should be fired and replaced. I don't care what side, what political aisle they're on. I really don't care. I don't care. It has nothing to do with political ideology. I'm saying they're failing their citizens no matter what ideology they're from. Period. Fire them. Moab, fire all of them. Fire all of them. Start from scratch. Start from scratch and be smart. Don't just listen to what they say. You need to see the plan. If they're saying, oh, we're going to make this such a nice place. Okay, show me how you're going to make this a nice place. Don't just tell me you're going to do it. Show me how you're going to do it. Make it make sense to me. What you guys are dealing with in Moab, Utah, you should not be having to deal with. I'm telling you that from a person that's been in the political area. I'm telling you, with our county being ran like a well-oiled machine, do we have problems? Of course we do. Is everything perfect? Of course not. But I can guarantee this county here is being ran a hell of a lot better than your county in Moab, Utah. You guys deserve better. You deserve better. I'm telling you, you deserve better. You need to demand housing. You need to demand affordable housing. There is not one other person in that in those city limits needs to die. Not one other person. Not one other person. Let's fix it. Let's fix this problem. A freaking moon shadow. No, I'm just joking. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, ICU. 7 alibis. My people up in here this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We love you. You know, we work very hard here. We're just bringing some new information. This is not a new case, folks. This is not a new case. This is actually a case that we were doing. Sorry, guys, when I wake up, I'm a little gunky, so please excuse me. I got to blow my nose. But at any rate, this is a new case. I wanted to bring over, I actually got it pulled up this morning. I know we've been talking about this. I'm just giving my commentary on everything that's going on with this case, but I did want to bring it to you, bring some more additional information to you about the case. Primarily, you know, a lot of people don't know we work with people. When we start a case and it's in a different area, we find people that are working the case. We find people that have the legitimate information, that really truly are trying to find answers. And of course, we always seem to find the folks that work the hardest. And this is no different with Dell 2000. As you can see right here, I am following him. I hope everybody else does. He has really been following this case from out the gate. He is an amazing person. We had an opportunity to meet. He literally drove hours, 4 or 5 hours from Salt Lake City, Utah, over to Moab, Utah, just to spend the evening. We went to dinner. He helped us. You know, we got dressed. We got in our disguises and we went to Woody's Tavern. And we all broke apart. He got a hotel. He actually spent real money out of his own pocket to come help us. He got a hotel. We all got up the next day. He met us at our room and we went out to the site. He walked us around the site. He told us as much information that he had. He had actually spoken to witnesses prior to us ever stepping foot in Moab, Utah. He was a wealth of information and in just a kind soul, a kind person. Dell 2000 was amazingly kind. He was just a great guy. I was honored to meet him. I still keep in contact with him. As many of you know, I never keep in contact with hardly anybody, but I did tell him Happy Thanksgiving. I did forget to say Merry Christmas, but I forgot to tell everybody Merry Christmas. I literally turned my phone off. I didn't even speak to my mom until the evening of Christmas, which don't yell at me, guys. I love my mother. It's just that, you know, this was, as many of you know, was my first year by myself. You know, I have no dogs. I had, you know, my husband, we're going through a divorce. Hopefully we should have been divorced a long time ago. I don't know what's going on with the court system. We're literally, everything's been divided. We've already split. We're just waiting for the order of the court to say that we're officially divorced and it's done. So, and I've been waiting for that for literally 8 months. So I'm getting a little perturbed with Manatee County Courthouse. But it is what it is. So I'm rolling with the punches and hopefully we will get that order from the court very soon. I'm hoping that the judge just says, okay, I'm signing this and it's done and over with. To be able to get married a lot easier than being able to get a divorce, especially when there's nothing to argue about. Like ours is uncontested. We literally went down to the courthouse. They notarized everything for us, our legal documents, our divorce paperwork, or all this other stuff. So there's really no reason. But anyways, getting back to it, I just didn't feel like dealing with anybody this year for Christmas. I really didn't. I have to say I was a little depressed, to say the least, but I stayed in bed and I watched Christmas movies. You know, I stayed in bed and I watched Christmas movies. That's what I did. And my neighbor made me pull my butt out of bed and come over and have Christmas dinner with him. And then a friend called and told me to get out of bed and, you know, get out of the house. So that's what I did. And but that wasn't until the evening, but it was still nice. It was still nice. You know, people do care for me. I realize that. I love everybody that does, but again, you know, I just was kind of a bah humbug this year for Christmas, and it was nobody. And even my friend Robin, she always provides me stuff. I love her. She's just great people. She's great people. I need to go take her to lunch. She's due a lunch for me. So one day when I'm over in the neighboring county, I'll have to reach out to her and take her to lunch. So at any rate, what was I getting to? So anyways, getting back to Dell, he does great. He does great work, but that's the only thing I forgot to tell him this year was Merry Christmas. And From what I hear, he went on vacation, which is good. He deserves the time off. He's my understanding, he's a military guy, but he's been, following the case and everything from the beginning. He's the one that connected us with Jason Jensen and, Sean Paul Schulte and whatnot. But he really does. He was really a special person that we were meeting, and we were fortunate enough to meet him. Look at that. He takes such great pictures too. I mean, just amazing photos. That's him. That's our friend, Dell. Look at that picture. Isn't that just freaking gorgeous? It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous in that area. There's no doubt. I mean, the Moab area is beautiful. It really is. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I hear you. And let's see if we can find some videos. I know he has a couple videos on here that I'd like to share. I didn't ask him if I could share it, but I'm sure he doesn't. So let me just roll this back just a little bit. So this right here is where their tent was set. On the other side of these bushes is where that creepy guy was. So this is where their tent was set. This is where they had their pet rabbit, was right here. And then over here in this area here is that that canal, it's not it's more of a irrigation trough, was right back here. And this is the area where Kylan Schulte was found. It was said to believe that down this way, further down, is where Crystal Turner was found in that same little creek or irrigation trough. It's basically a trough that collects all the irrigation runoff, and it makes a stream and follows this certain path in that little trough. So for those that need an explanation of that, they were not in a creek. Leon or Leo, they were not in a creek. People called it a creek, but it was not a creek. It was literally a 2.5 by 2.5 irrigation runoff trough. It was not something that they would want to bathe in. I mean, outside of cleaning your feet off, if they got dirty, you don't want to be in that water. Again, irrigation trough. So let's just keep. So again, this is how we come in. This is where they were set up. This is where the other fire pit is. This is the irrigation trough. This is perfect. See how small it is? This is cattle irrigation runoff. So again, not something you'd be wanting to bathe in. And that is really not a creek or canal. It is literally 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, and it's a runoff. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because at first I thought Kylan Schulte was half on the land with her head and upper torso in the water. And I actually I got down on my belly and went there so we could see what it looked like. We've come to find out that that was incorrect. Kylan Schulte was literally in the water this way, submerged, which was a little peculiar and a little odd. She was going parallel in the water. She wasn't hanging from the land into the water. She looked like she had been placed and was floating in this little trough here. This is important because it almost appeared as whoever did this, put her or placed her in the water or could have placed her in the water. And the only reason why I feel that somebody was placed in the water is to help rinse off DNA evidence. Now, remember, these girls were declothed, they were derobed from the waist down. Crystal, the smaller one, the older one, did not wear a bra. So the one that had the shirt over her head and the bra exposed was most likely Kylan Schulte, the younger member of this marriage. So, folks, that was, let me get this off. So that was one of his videos. Like I said, he does really good videos of things. So we like to give credit where credit's due. He's very good at what he does. So let's watch this one. So again, for those that, yes, it does. They were beautiful. And I got to tell you that their love was by far, I have never heard the love. I mean, they just loved each other. People wait their whole life to find a love that these two had, and they found each other on a trail in 2019 and had been inseparable ever since. And to have their life snuffed away so quickly when they were just starting out as a whole. Finally, both of these girls came from unspeakable pain in their past, and they were able to find each other and bring this bright, shining light into each other's lives that literally changed the trajectory of both of their lives forever. And for somebody to come in and snuff their life away without any, I mean, we can't find a reason that this had happened. I mean, well, there's several reasons. Some people, may have been jealous of the love that they cared, that they had for each other. Both of these beautiful ladies had dated men prior to finding each other. That could have been a factor. Kylan Schulte had, a horrific sexual assault from somebody that she knew. And it was very sad that she went through it, and nobody was there to help her. And her mother, I think, still to this day is with her abuser. And it's just a very sad situation. You know, I don't want to discredit or disparage her in any way. She did nothing wrong. She was a kid. And it was just very sad to hear the story that I heard. And, you know, here we are. Here we are. So here's where we were up there meeting him.
And then they come out here at 12:30 in pitch black and come here. The question is, did somebody follow them here? Did they have somebody else in their vehicle with them? You know, what was somebody waiting for them? What happened? But this is really, really remote. There's no cell service. There's no internet out here. There is literally no way to even call for help if you need it. None. And then they come out here at 12:30 in pitch black and come here.
Yeah.
The question is, did somebody follow them?
We did confirm that the girls were most likely not followed because they went over to their friend's house, and they rode around for about an hour. They left their friend's house about 7:30. 12:30, and that they said that they were most likely going to be back there. But this is just a testament to the work that Del 2000 has done on the case. We want to make sure that we give him credit. For those of you, please go over to @Del, that's DEL 2000, to follow this case. He's been spearheading this case from out the gates. He does very good work. He really loves these girls. He's learned them. He now knows them from the work he's done. He is past military as well. He's just a good, wholesome guy. We're very thankful that we got to meet him. And these girls deserve justice. Their life mattered, even though Moab doesn't feel the same way. I am very, very heartbroken that this is still unsolved. You know, this is still unsolved. So a view from Emma, it's @DEL, and that's his name, DEL 2000, 2000, Del 2000. Thank you. Thank you, Garden Grower. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Thank you. So it's @Del 2000. That's his page. We want to make sure that he is followed by each of you. He does. Yes, her aunt is a beautiful person. Diane is amazing. You know, we talked to her while we were there. We got information. We had the live last night. She was on our live. And she said, we were at that jackass, Kim Neal, Lieutenant Kim Neal's office. And he promised us he was going to start informing Crystal's family, you know, of changes in the case, give them an update, something, you know, something. And still to this day, this is a month, this is 6 weeks later, almost 2 months later. And the jerk still hasn't called Crystal Turner's family. Still hasn't called them. You know who's pushing this case? People like me, people like Del. That's who's pushing this case. Sources that we connections that we made in Moab still call me on my phone to this day and talk to us about this case. One of them gave us a lead of a creep that reached out to her that was in the Moab area. The wanted her, just picked her up out of nowhere, you know, and said, oh, hey, I'm so-and-so. You want to come out here to the LaSalle Loop area and hang out? Creep. Makes you wonder, is it him? Is it him? So they do. I know Jonathan has it. I don't have it available to me at the moment, but we need to get started on. I know Jonathan, when we were there, you know, he was hitting Grand County Sheriff right and left with record requests. You know, that's another strategy that we use is applying pressure through record requests to these, government entities. We want them to realize that we are watching, we are monitoring, we want to know what the heck's going on with these cases. We are not going to go away or be silent. I know that we kind of took another path. We had a 5-year-old girl that we needed to try to help. And, she could have very well potentially been alive. And of course, referring to Summer Wells. We get out there and we find out that, she's most likely gone too. So it's just sad. I mean, we deal with all this stuff. So sad. It's just so sad. I don't know if he's against their lifestyle. I just think he's a pompous, egotistical. He's got bigger kahunas than everybody else. He knows better than everybody else. That's the kind of guy that he is. That's the kind of personality I felt like I was dealing with when I was dealing with him. I don't think it had anything to do with their lifestyle. I think it has to do with his mentality, his character, his integrity. And it is, a sad state of affairs when you have law enforcement that's so closed-minded that they cannot even ask or want the help of the public, especially when the case is going cold. This case is going cold. It's sad, hopefully it's heating up, but it took the pressure of the community. It took the pressure of people like me, the social media people, to keep this case in the spotlight. We've got people on another YouTube channel ordering satellite imagery of this area. Why? Where's law enforcement? Where's law enforcement on this? So we have to, talk about that. And so, as many of you know, we can only take so many cases. There's only 4 of us. I mean, granted, we have all of you guys out there helping and feeding us information. But at the end of the day, we're the ones that are going to these. We can't, we don't have the ability to get to all these places every single day of the week. We can only take on a case or 2 a month. And we're trying, we're expanding. Plus we're all trying to build our channels to boot. I mean, this is a lot of hard work that we're trying to do and get out there and get this stuff out there. So before we wrap up, I did ask for permission. We don't know. We really don't know. It's been alleged that they were, unclothed from the waist down. It has all the hallmarks of a sexual assault, but we have not received conclusively that they were sexually assaulted. It could have been something to throw the case off. Again, these were beautiful girls. And they did have a creep that was spying on them at the next camp over. And you saw when I pointed it out in that video how close that creep was. I mean, he was entirely too close for that big wide open nothing. Like he could have been anywhere. Why that close to these women? And he knew that they were uncomfortable because I'm pretty sure they told him. I mean, these are people like me. If I feel uncomfortable or see something wrong, it's coming out of my mouth. Like it falls out. I'm one of those I call it a pop mouth. Not a pot mouth, a pop, P-O-P, pop mouth. That means that things pop out of my mouth before I can, keep them in, And it's been a blessing, but it's been a curse because I have this pop mouth and I know I do. So I've got to be careful because when I get frustrated and angry, things pop out that I don't that I feel at that time, but doesn't necessarily mean that that's truly how I feel. Like for example, when I was 15 years old, my dad was mad at me. I told him how much I hated his guts. I hate him. And that just popped out because I was angry at that time. So I'm cognizant of my pop mouth. And these girls were no different. So I'm pretty sure that they would have told that person that was too close to them that he's a creep and why are you so close? And, they would have exactly no filter. That's it. And it's a blessing and it's a curse. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's really not. And I've been on both sides of those with my own unfiltered mouth. So, and I'm especially good, because friends, it's bad. It's bad because when you have friends and you're really friends and friends do fight. I mean, it's natural. It's normal. Even relationships, it's healthy and normal to have disagreements. It's healthy and normal to scream. It's healthy and normal to have altercations, not physical altercations, of course, not physical altercations, but it is normal and healthy not to see eye to eye. And I've got to be careful because sometimes even in those disagreements, my pop mouth just starts, how I feel right then, even though it doesn't mean how I truly feel. I don't know if that makes sense. So at any rate, that's me. And so I've got to be very careful. I got to be very careful. So we don't know, what truly happened. I always believe it's the last person that saw the folks alive that usually has a hand in their case. And in this case, their friends are the ones that last saw them. They last saw them in Woody's. Their best friend was the last person that truly saw them before they went back up on that mountain. Do I believe she's responsible? Of course not. Of course not. She is absolutely, utterly devastated that she could not talk these girls into staying with her. Like these people are absolutely, they're friends because they heard this. And so let me just give you an example of what happened or describe the situation that happened. So that Friday the 13th, these girls decided to go out with their friends, a friend from, a couple friends from their McDonald's employment, Crystal's work. And one of them was had just had the vaccine, and they were going out to be with her and hang out with her, and they had a beer, but she had just had her vaccine, her COVID vaccine, and she was having a horrible headache. The vaccine gave her a massive headache, and she decided that it was just she needed to go home. So it kind of killed the party for everybody. So they all kind of left. But it appeared that Crystal and Kylan were not ready to kind of call it a night. So they ended up going over to their girlfriend's house and hanging out with her. They decided to all then get into a vehicle and go drive around for about an hour and hang out and have fun and, laugh and, do what young girls do when they're out together. They ended up going back to their friend's house where they dropped her off and ended up proceeding. They didn't get out of the car. They didn't go back in the house. Her friend was assured, because they had been driving around for an hour, that nobody was following them. They would have noticed if somebody was following them. So nobody was following them. And then they proceeded to go back to the mountain. Their friend said that they would have been arriving at the mountain at around 1 a.m. The morning of the 14th. But it wasn't until when they were at Woody's, they did allege that there was this creepy guy at their campsite, but kind of blew it off. They didn't pay it much attention. Yes, Stephanie Bryan definitely did kill Gabby Petito. There's no doubt about that, but he didn't kill these people, in my opinion. But anyways, getting back to that. So they did say while they were at Woody's about this creepy guy, but kind of blew it off and acted like it was no big deal. It wasn't until later that night when they were at their friend's house, the one that I told you that they drove around with for about an hour, that they did kind of act like it was a more serious of a threat. And, of course, their friend was trying to keep them there. And they're like, no, it's good. It's good. We're just going to go back, because their rabbit, Ruth, was at the campsite. They would not leave Ruth by herself. That was their pet rabbit. If anybody has a pet, a fur baby, they're like the children, they're not going to leave their child behind out in the wilderness in the dark, and not only that, but rabbits especially can be scared to death, literally scared to death. I had a rabbit myself and had it outside in a cage, and woke up one day and the rabbit was dead and was scared, literally scared to death. So at any rate, they didn't leave their rabbit out there. They wanted to go out there and be with Ruth, and they promised their friend that they would be packing up at first light and moving their campsite again, just to get away from that creep. They were never heard from again. That was it. They were never heard from again. They were all supposed to go. So that was that Saturday. They were supposed to move. Nobody heard from them. That Sunday, they were supposed to go to work, but Krista was telling her friends at work, because one of them was the manager from her work, that she was not going to be working on Sundays anymore. So, and she had been saying that for a really long time. So it's not like this was the first time she said, I'm not coming in on Sunday. I'm done with Sundays. Her and Kylan wanted to have the same days off, and she wanted Sundays off from McDonald's. She was always dependable, always reliable, but her coworker, which happened to be her manager that they were out with at Woody's, indicated that she had said it. She said it multiple times. They didn't believe it. When she didn't come in that Sunday, they just assumed that this was the Sunday she finally decided to make the decision that she does not want to work Sundays anymore. So they did try to get a hold of her, were unsuccessful, but it wasn't until that Monday when both the girls didn't show up to work, they knew beyond a reasonable doubt something had happened to the girls. They started freaking out. This was so out of character. These people worked next to these girls for 4 years, never missed a day without calling them, without talking to them. Again, this was a close-knit working community that knew everything about each other. They talked to each other regularly. So for them to go and be ghosted, they knew without a doubt something was wrong. And all they could think about at that time was the creepy guy that they were referring to. At some point, somebody had said that they even said, if something happens to us or we don't show up, we're dead. We've been murdered. I didn't hear that from an eyewitness, but I did read that online. So that is probable. I didn't, again, have not been able to confirm or deny that statement, only the stuff that we know about. Now, Diane is Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner's cousin. And then let me find this. So it's a GoFundMe. And it is the Find a Killer. I'm going to try to get this. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. So, maybe this works, maybe not. Okay, I'll have to sign up. But there's a GoFundMe page. Olivia put it in her chat. I'll have to find that again. But it's a GoFundMe that Diane, I will post it here in a little bit. A GoFundMe for Diane, that's Diane set up for the girls to help catch a killer. It was my understanding, I don't know if this is true. I haven't talked to Diane. I know Olivia is more in contact with her. I probably should reach out to her. But at one point, I was under the impression that Crystal had not been reunited with her family yet. She was still in Moab. So I'm hoping that she has now been reunited with her family, and her family now has her remains or her ashes or what have you. I will check into that and let you guys know. First of all, no, he did not. Brian was, many of you guys don't know, Brian did not have money. It was Gabby's money that they were spending on this trip. But Brian was a real piece of work. He lived off his parents. He was just not a upstanding young man, you know. And I kind of blame it on Roberta. She seems like she was the one that didn't want to clip the umbilical cords. It seemed like Dad was frustrated. He was at his wit's end. I'm talking about Christopher Laundrie. And it sounded to me as if, you know, dads primarily, when they have a son, you know, they want their son to be successful. They want to come over to their son's house. They want their son to be married with the children, you know, working hard, providing for their families. You know, a father does not want to be supporting their son when they're 24 years old. I mean, they just don't. I'm sorry. I just can't see it. I think Roberta was the mastermind. I think she was complicit in some after the fact crimes related to Gabby Petito. And I hope that law enforcement says that this is not appropriate and charges them with the crimes that they have committed. I am so sick of hearing, but they were protecting their son. It does not give you the right to break the law and skate the law because you're protecting a family member. If that was the standard, we'd be in trouble in the United States, because all you'd have to say is, I can't be charged. I was just helping my son. I was helping my son cover up a murder. That can't be the standard. You break the law. You help your child break the law. Your child offs himself. You should be responsible. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The dirty laundry parents wasted millions upon millions of taxpayer money by staying in their house, putting law enforcement at risk, and then going out after it took me applying 5 weeks of pressure, and one lawsuit later, after the lawsuit was filed, 48 hours, they decided it was time to go out of their house and go show law enforcement where their son was. That's what it took. But at least we found him, right? At least he was found. Too bad it only took them 30 minutes, but they had to spend almost over $2 million of taxes before they decided to get off their asses and go look for their son. They knew exactly where their son was. 5 weeks, law enforcement has been looking for him, and they found him in less than 30 minutes. It's despicable. The parents should be charged. The parents should be charged, and I hope they are. I hope they are. I hope they are. So, we're going to go back. I know Olivia did give me permission. I did speak to her. She didn't mind. I'm just going to show you this, and then we're going to cut off. I wanted to make sure that we are promoting Chronicle of Olivia's page. I need people to go over there and subscribe to her and watch her stuff. I'm not going to be playing all of her video. I'm just going to be playing a portion of her video because I think it's that important that you guys see it. But I also want to promote her page, so we're not going to play the whole thing. If you guys would like to see this, please go over there and watch it for yourself. We're going to have a little advertisement on here because it is the YouTube page and not the digital copy of itself. So let's get through the ad.
Animals. We are in
my heart.
Sorry.
Content.
When thinking about the evolution of man, it's always a good idea to remember we are animals.
This documentary is dedicated to Crystal Turner and Kylan Schulte, who both tragically lost their lives and their murder remains unsolved. It is adamant that anyone who was in the area between August 10th to the 18th, please check your dash cams and phones for any footage.
I've never seen her that happy. It's just so sad they didn't have more come together. Thinking about how vulnerable they were when they saw they were in harm's way is hard to think about. We don't know what they saw. Just them knowing that, they probably weren't going to get out of there. All they were doing was saving money to have a better life someday, living carefree in nature.
And that was stolen away from them.
Yes.
Too soon.
Everything was, yes.
We're in town. We're friends with Diane, Crystal Turner's cousin, and we're here trying to get some answers on them.
I didn't know your daughter, but I could tell that, she was very in love with Kylan, and they both loved each other very dearly. And
they were crazy about each other.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
We're going to try and get some answers here.
Okay, that's going to be wonderful.
Here's the future property in Hot Springs, Arkansas, that Crystal and Kylan planned to live in, which was part of their 5-year plan. Their future was stolen away from them, from a senseless murderer.
So before we came out, we decided to do some due diligence, reach out to people. There is a murder board. We have a murder board. We have suspects in our murder board, on our murder board. Here they are. That looks like a creepy guy. This gentleman here checked into Warner Lake on the day the girls were killed.
Before I get into the trip and what we found out while we were there, here is a timeline of events. On August 13th, 7 p.m., Crystal and Kylan went to Woody's Tavern to hang out with some friends. They left with a friend, and the three of them drove around town for about an hour. They then went to their friend's house and hung out till about 12 to 12:30 in the morning. The girls had mentioned that there was a creepy guy way too close to their campsite, and they planned to move to a different campsite the following morning. They also mentioned that the creepy guy had left and returned with clean clothes and food. The friend offered for them to spend the night, but the girls insisted they go back to their campsite because they had left their rabbit Ruth. The girls left and made their way to the La Salle Mountains. From Moab to the girls' campsite near Whispering Oaks Ranch, it's about 44 minutes and 23 miles away. The girls' campsite was just 500 yards away from Whispering Oaks Ranch. Sources tell us that the girls frequently camped at this spot, a favorite of the locals. On August 18th, Cindy Sue Hunter, a friend of the girls and Kylan's father, went looking for them. She went to the campsite the girls frequented, and she found Kylan in the creek. She went into shock and called the police. It took them about an hour to show up, but for her it felt like an eternity. Police found Crystal also in the creek. Something unusual that Cindy noticed was a blue car that slowly drove past her while she was parked on the side of the road. 2 weeks
So let me get that up on. There we go. There, pause it right there. So that's who we're looking for now. Who is the creepy guy? That is a portion of it. I'm not playing the whole thing. It is 22 minutes long. I behoove everybody to please go over to Chronicles of Olivia and get the story that you guys are watching. As you can see, she does wonderful productions for our team and really does document the work that we do that goes into a search like this, an investigation like this. We call it an investigation because we are investigative journalists. We bring the information that we find to you, and if we find new information, we do hand that off to law enforcement. These girls had their lives snuffed away, and we still cannot figure out the motive associated with this. We can't. Nobody had a bad thing to say about them. Nobody. These girls were loved. When we got out there, I got to tell you some of the things that were going through our minds when we were going there. And again, this was another one that we were told that they don't like outsiders. They're not going to talk to you. And we spoke to so many people out there. And this is exactly what we thought. We thought that there was that homophobic, element out there. We thought, this is Utah, the Mormons, the Latter-day Saint organization. We thought that these people were not going to be welcomed. Their lifestyle was going to be, just they were going to be talked down to. No, this community, believe it or not, as touristy as it is, were very welcoming of their lifestyle. They were loved. They were not discriminated against that we could find with the whole LBGTQ angle. We couldn't see it. We couldn't find it. Does that mean that somebody wasn't jealous of the love they had? No, it doesn't. But it wasn't consistent across the board. People loved them. They didn't care that they were together. They didn't care that they were married. When you met these girls, the love that they had for each other was something that was almost admired. I mean, they were truly head over heels in love with themselves, with each other, rather. This is, again, a love that many people search a lifetime to have, that these girls found in each other. It was a beautiful marriage. It was a beautiful relationship, and they lived a very free-spirited life, and they loved the van community and lifestyle. However, Crystal was, she was getting older. She was ready to settle down. She just got married. She wanted the, home and the white picket fence and the nice jobs and things of that nature. And that's why they had the 5-year plan to go back to Hot Springs, Arkansas. But we found out from friends that they were actually planning on going back this spring. They had made the decision that they were ready to go back. We learned from Crystal's family that they felt discriminated against. And I thought it was their LBGTQ lifestyle. That's why when we went up there, we had that preconceived notion. And come to find out, it wasn't. It was because, Crystal was of a smaller build. She was very tiny, and people discriminated against her thinking she was on drugs. And it was very personal to her because she used to be on drugs. And through this relationship, they both saved each other. And I think that's where a lot of their love came from. They both saved each other's lives. I mean, Kylan was ready to kill herself at the time she met Crystal, and Crystal, was, fighting the demons of drugs and everything else. And they truly found each other and changed the trajectory of both of their lives forever. And then when they finally got on right footing, they were snuffed out. They were snuffed out. It's sad. It's truly sad. For those that are just now joining, I see that we've doubled in size. We're still struggling with the viewership because of the notifications. Those that are coming in here, please make sure you go to your page and you change your notification to none and then change it back to all. That'll help trigger the notifications coming back. I want to make sure that you guys are getting our lives. We put a lot of time into this. We put a lot of work into this. And many of you guys sponsor this financially. So we want to make sure that you get your work in raw form. This is how we show our transparency of the work that we do, is through Olivia's videos. JLR starting to work on his channel. He does great work. He sends out smaller videos. I do lives. Marissa does lives. My videos are not that good, even though I have some great programs here to do videos. Like I was telling Olivia, I don't have the patience. She is so sweet, and she has the patience to really work these things. And so I want you guys to go over to Jonathan Lee Rich's investigative reporter. He has been with your content. He has taught our team a lot. He's a great asset to our team. All of us have we bring a different, unique presence to the team, and by all four of us collaborating, we have this well-oiled machine that really does great work and in these investigations, and does help law enforcement immensely. So yes, for those that are, please, if resetting that bell's not working, please unsubscribe and resubscribe and change that bell notification to all. That is the only way we're going to fix these glitches that we're having with YouTube. I don't know why it started. I know everybody was receiving, thank you. I think everybody was receiving the notifications. Something happened. I don't know what. And it dropped those off. Yes, please go. Oops, sorry. Please go see Miss Golightly as well. We love her. She's amazing. I know she's got a personality, a strong personality, but it's what people like. I mean, she's got a huge following, and I love her. You guys, she's a great person. I know she has a persona on YouTube, but I can guarantee you working with her was amazing. She's a hard worker. I know that's not what she conveys on her YouTube, but she's a hard worker, guys. And she's part of the team. And whether you like her or don't like her, I mean, at the end of the day, she's still part of the team, and we work well with her. So if we have, if somebody doesn't like her personality, that's one thing. But why would we dump a great member of our team that works very hard on these cases and gets answers and gets, interviews? Why would we kick her to the curb? It doesn't make sense. We work well together. And at the end of the day, it comes down to how best we can help the victims, and by removing her, if that's a disservice to the victim, we would never do that because somebody doesn't like her. That would be stupid. No other way to describe it. It would be stupid. She brings a lot to the team. And she brings a lot more than just money. I know that it's alleged that she's the person. She's great at raising money for these things. There's no doubt about it. Hands down, she raises great money for our efforts to get us out there. This stuff costs real money. But at the end of the day, she's more than just a purse. I mean, she's a human being that has a brain, a very smart brain on top of her head, that actually brings value to this team in other ways besides monetary. And for those that think that she's just a purse, really do not give her the credit that she's due. And I hope you guys, through the work that we're going to do and the productions we're going to put together, showcasing how hard she works, I think, a lot of your opinions of her, if they are negative, will change. And if your opinion of her is great, it's only going to get better, because she is a great person. And I just want everybody to know that, truly, if you guys can trust me to do these cases and you believe me on that, believe me on this. She really is a wonderful, hard worker, and she really does go out there to help these people. Her heart is in the right place. Okay. Her heart is truly in the right place. And that's the main criteria of being part of this team, right? Your heart has to be in the right place. And if I thought she was out there for clout and just clicks and reviews and all this stuff, she wouldn't be part of our team. We could care less about the finances. If her heart was not in the right place, she would not be part of the team. So she is part of the team. She is part of our family, and that should speak volumes to the people that follow us. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And the reason why I feel necessary to throw that out there is because we are under constant attack because of the work we do. I don't know why. I can only assume it's because we work very hard, and we bring this to you in a completely different light than anybody else on YouTube is able to do. And it hurts their feelings. That's what I truly believe. And yes, she is freaking hilarious. I'm telling you, I laugh my ass off. She is a character. There's no doubt about it. She is a character, and she does make me laugh. I mean, sometimes as raunchy as her stuff is, it does. I mean, I was sitting there one day, and I'm like, Olivia and I were watching her, and I'm just cracking up. I just couldn't stop laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, she is a riot. She is a riot. So yeah, it's refreshing, and you know what? And she doesn't mind telling anybody to go F off. That's my kind of girl, man. You give her problems, go F off. Even friends. Like I'm telling you, if her and I had a tiff and I was on the wrong side, she'd tell me to go F off. She ain't scared. It's how friends deal with that. I wouldn't be running if there was an issue between her and I'm not the kind of person to be running to YouTube and putting it on blast. I would pick up the phone and call her and say, hey girl, what's up? What do we need to do to get past this issue? That's how adults handle discourse and disagreements. They don't go on YouTube and lie about every single thing and try to dog them and try to take, and it's so funny because out of all the chaos and hate that came and ensued from us going out there and fighting for Summer Wells, and it was just because of some, and I'm not talking about Tiffany Marie. I know she gets her feelings hurt a little bit. And I'm not trying to say that, but she was beneficial to us out there. Not everybody can be heels on the ground. We do have to have people at the helm behind the scenes that we can pick up the phone, that are near a computer, that can type this stuff up and tell us where we need to go or what we need to see or what we need to know. For example, if we're meeting somebody for an interview, we need to have the bullet points. When we're out there in Rogersville, we have no internet. We can't look this stuff up. We have cell service, so we can call somebody and they can explain what we need to know. Then we have a better understanding of the interview process, what questions we need to ask, what information we need. We can now have a strategy, an interview strategy that will give us the answers that we are seeking. And Tiffany Marie was, she was a big part of that process while we were out there. And so it upsets me that there was this, disagreement, Molly and AB and everything like that. Again, I don't want to get involved in it. I do like everybody. I don't want to be involved in the drama, but I did just want to explain that, that all could have been handled in such a different way. Even with White Boy Lockdown and Noel, Damaged Goods with No Regret, that could have been handled in a completely different way. I am so disappointed in those two. They broke my heart. And I've maintained my integrity, because if I really wanted to put both of those people, especially on blast, I definitely could with the information and the recordings I do have. I never did that. I kept it clean. I let them do and attack me any way they want to. And I maintained my integrity throughout the process along with our team. So, it's just a shame that these people feel the need to make a mockery out of these cases by trying to attack the people that are out there doing the work. But it goes to show you who's jealous and who is not. Because, what does my past matter in solving a case? What does my past matter when I'm out there looking for a victim? What does my past have anything to do with? How does that affect whether I'm out in the woods looking for a body or not? Explain that to me. So anybody that's bringing that up, you have to ask yourself why. Why are they distracting from the victim? Right? What does it matter? However, when you have people up on a mountain partying with people of interest in the disappearance of a 5-year-old girl, their past does matter, right? Their past does matter. Like, why are you up there and not helping? Why are you staying on the top of a mountain drinking and smoking dope instead of being out there looking for Summer Wells? That their past does matter. I'm out there looking for her. What does my past matter? Right? So, at any rate, thank God I've been honest, and thank God I've been honest about it for years. You know, it's not like all of a sudden we got into this and now my past is being brought up and oh my God, it's such a secret to everybody. I've been talking about my past for years as I worked with domestic violence victims. I have been open and transparent for many, many years about the life that I lived. And I really, truly believe that has saved me through all this, them trying to, squeeze me out or try to embarrass me somehow. I'm not embarrassed of my past. Could I have done things differently? Yes. Had I done things differently, I wouldn't be here right now. My path would have been completely different. This was the path I was meant to go down. And I went down the path and I got through the other side. I went down a very dark, dark path. But without those experiences, what benefit could I bring to what I'm doing now? Because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is from the life I lived. Without having those experiences, I would not be as effective as I am right now. So we are very blessed and thankful with where we are, what we're doing, how we're helping. We're extremely humble that every case we have touched, we've been able to assist in some way, shape, or form and provide new information and new leads, and we're able to breathe new life back into the cases that we have worked. And that is a very, very important. That is very important. And unfortunately, that's something that no one can take away from us. And nobody can take credit for it unless you're Dog the Bounty Hunter. I'm so mad at him. I interviewed him. I can't even play the interview. Actually, maybe I can. Maybe I can, because as long as I use TMZ, I can. TMZ, Dog the Bounty Hunter interview. Let's see if I can do this. See if I can pull this up. No, it was 10. Let's see if I got the video. There we go. Shows up. There it is. I'll show you the interview I did.
Live streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find
you
the
guys
right.
Can tell it's. Yep, that was your one and only right here. I did that interview, and then he sends out a press conference saying that he was out there looking for Kathleen Moore. And Jonathan Lee Riches and myself were the only ones out there in that swamp looking for Kathleen Moore. That pissed me off more than it. Like I had so much respect for Dog the Bounty Hunter. I really did. Until that happened. Until that press conference. And we actually reached out to Pasco County because we were so pissed off that Dog just sends out this with no evidence, no corroboration that he was even out there looking for Kathleen Moore. We were out there for days. And so we went out to Pasco and we sent them a records request to ask them, what was Dog involved? Was this Dog? We got their answer. No, he was not involved. So it was very irritating for me. And a lot of the stuff, they follow us on social media. And it's irritating. They should have given us credit because damn well the only people out there in that area was us. Just irritating. But that was me. That was me giving Dog the Bounty Hunter an interview. And so, pretty cool. So, been doing this for a little minute, folks. And I guarantee half the YouTubers can't say the same thing. So, that's one thing I got under my belt, right? All right, these nuts. I'm telling you, I have a horrible. I don't know why I buy these things. This is probably the worst addiction that anybody could ever have, right? I buy these things, and I literally I just got them yesterday. Look at that. That's insanity, and I can't stop eating them. And then I hate myself for eating this many nuts because they're good for you. but they're still high in calorie, high in saturated fat, especially the ones that are roasted and salted, right? And I can't stop. Can't stop. Like, even you'll watch me, I'll put them down, time will go by, and then all of a sudden you'll start seeing me pick them up, pop them back in my mouth. Driving me crazy. And then I still buy them. Ah! Anyways. Oh my goodness. Having a nutty day. So let's go over here. So we got KYCRY. Very good. Anyways, a great production by Olivia. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link for her YouTube. This specific. Oh, I probably should take the seconds off. I should probably take the seconds off because we don't want you to start where we left off. All right, here's the YouTube channel for all of you guys that want to go there and watch it. You know, Olivia worked very hard on these things, as she always does. She does a beautiful rendering of the work that we've done. And very pleased to have her on our team. So happy. She's like a sister. She's like a little sister to me. I have to be honest. She really is. She's amazing. We talk about a lot, you know, and a lot of people that don't understand this, and I'll just explain it to you. So this, as you guys can know, I mean, I'm sure you guys get stressed from looking at these cases yourself, but actually being involved in them and actually going out here and investigating them and doing things. We have a lot of emotional stuff that goes on dealing with these cases. I know you don't see it and we don't show it in the public, but there's a lot of stuff, you know, personal stuff. And we lean on each other. We talk to each other about that personal stuff, you know, and we lean on each other and we help, you know, advice, you know, we give each other advice, excuse me. And she is like a little sister. I mean, she's family. I call her mom. Jonathan calls her mom. I think even Marissa may be calling her mom. I mean, her mom's our mom, our street mom, you know, our road mom. And we are a family. And we are like any other family. So we have our good times and we have our bad times. But the problem is, and the good thing is we stick it out, we deal with it, and we move on. It doesn't affect the work that we do. And yes, Olivia is very shy. She is. We're pulling her out of her shell. See, when we first started working on this, she did not want to be. She didn't want to speak on camera. She didn't really want. She was very good at her digital craft. She's you know, her pieces are masterpieces, beautiful masterpieces. But she didn't really want to be the person in her own videos. You know, she wanted to document Jonathan and myself, and we were fine with that. But she also has a great brain on her, and she is very sweet, and people just really accept her. You know, they feel her, vibe, her great vibe. And she has now kind of broke through a little bit of her shyness, where we're able to record her, you know, able to get some statements on her. She's still very sweet, so very soft spoken, and you're not going to change that portion of her personality, nor do we want to, because that is part of her asset. That's part of her strength that she brings to this team. And we don't want to spoil that strength, but we also don't want her being silent and tucked away, because she has opinions, and she has great information, and she can process things great, and she's a great investigative journalist herself. So we are, you know, she's coming out of her shell, and you guys are watching her break through it, and it's an amazing it's amazing to watch the journey. And so, you know, I've already broken through my shell, and I was out of the limelight. You know, it was more of a political shell breaking, and, you know, getting involved with county stuff, you know, the domestic violence, the homeless, the vets, you know, and the politics of it. You know, that was pretty brutal. I mean, you guys can imagine politics is not, you know, for the weak of heart. I can tell you that. Probably what makes me so opinionated and not give a crap, you know, what people think of me now, because I've had people throw me through the mud for years, right? So just this is a more of there's not so much divide in the work I'm doing now, which, you know, I'm all about unity, and have been about unity for many years. But, you know, with the political climate, it's hard to unify. This kind of stuff people unify on, because it goes across political leanings. It goes across all ethnicities. It goes across all religions. And it's something that we can all say, you know what, we all need to work hard because there's real people and real victims involved. And I think that that's where we start with the foundation, and we all build a very strong foundation. And we can, once that foundation is laid, we can put the tallest building on that foundation. We can have the biggest property on that foundation. And you guys are part of that property. And we build on it, and we work at it, and we help do good things in this world. And it takes all of us doing it, and all of us having our part in that for these things to happen. Now we're taking that unity, that foundation, that big building, that big, beautiful building, and we're using it for the benefit of real victims and real families of victims. And without all of that, without all of you, that would not be possible. So I just want you guys to know, and I tell you guys all the time when I'm on here, how truly thankful I am, how you guys truly are. We're saying Summer's Army, but you guys are truly the army of the victims, not just Summer's, but all victims, right? We are here to help everybody that has succumbed to violent crimes. And we're going to continue to work forward, and we're going to continue to utilize each other to get the job done. So with that being said, I just think you guys are beautiful people. I think you guys are amazing. Without each and every one of you, my job would be impossible. And I want you guys to go over to Olivia's page, and I want you to watch the KYCRY documentary, the beginning, episode 1. This is a case that is still unsolved. It's in Moab, Utah. And yes, we were there. So, oh, thank you. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. We want to make sure that, and yes, if you guys are feeling generous, please don't forget to donate today. Otherwise, please like, share, and subscribe. Another way to support our channel. And let your friends know about us. Let your friends know about the entire team. And let's get our viewership up. We have to keep the viewership up to maintain the currency coming in. So, you know, we obviously are monetized. That helps offset our costs. It does a lot of great things. And we can't do it without each and every one of you doing your part by sharing, liking, and subscribing this channel. Make sure if you're not getting the notifications of my live, you go in there and you turn the notification bell to none and turn it back to all. If that does not trigger you knowing when I go live the next time, please consider unsubscribing and resubscribing. So you guys have a wonderful day. I'm out for a little while. I want to tell you, God bless you. And thank you for showing up and being a part of this amazing team. We continue to do good work. And do not forget to go on the other pages of our team. Chronicles of Olivia, Jonathan Lee Riches, investigative reporter, and Miss Molly Go Lightly. Thank you guys. Have a blessed day. We love you. All right, I'm sorry. I just saw that. Aloha, Andrew. I don't see who's trying to donate what, and you know, obviously I have to come back on here for that because that's stuff for the team. Carissa, Mike, Conklin, who's trying to donate? I'm sorry for. I would like to know what's going on there and how they're not there. Saying they need the last 4 of your number. Okay, let me. 6605. We'll say that. That's what's associated with that. 6605. And my Venmo, I've never had anybody ask for that, but that's okay. 6605. So if you guys need that, you guys, that's it. That's the one associated to that account. Perfect. That's the one that's associated to the account. I can tell you it's not the number that you can call me on. As many of you, just to give you an idea, like I literally have several different Google Voice numbers. I have to do that for security, but that's the one that's associated with that account. Oh yes, the wish list. Somebody's saying that they can't get the address. The address should not be, hold on a second. The address should not be to be able to be seen by you guys. It should be incognito. It should have the address as private. If it's not, please let me know, because that is going to be a problem. But we do have a list that is for everybody. If you guys would love to support or sponsor our wish list, we do have one available, and we do have things added to that. So I may have done that incorrectly. I'm not sure. But we do have lists. Here it is. And this has been shared, so send link to others. And here's that list. Please let me know. I've been hearing that they're not being able to purchase the stuff on it or send it to me. I'm not sure if that's the case. If you guys would like to see it, we've got, a whole bunch of stuff. Like we need wading gear, we need water boots, we need some body cameras so we can record these people. Sometimes it's hard or intimidating when we have our phones in their faces. There's going to be stuff on here that we're going to add that we need, even podcast equipment and stuff like that as we expand these, our reach and expand what we're doing here. I'm in the office. The office needs to be updated. And so we're just going to be adding that stuff to the list as people feel, want to sponsor or donate. This is something that they don't have to worry about wondering where the cash is gone. They can actually go here and purchase the stuff for the team, and it'll be great. So if anybody would like to do that, please do so. I did put that into the chat box here. So there is the wish list. Please let me know if you guys are unable to purchase. I know somebody was saying, yeah, I do not have a P.O. box. I have my home address, which I'm not willing to give out right now. Maybe a good option would be going down to the nearest place and getting a UPS store or UPS box or something of that nature. That would probably be good. But it's on the list. Just haven't pulled the trigger yet. So we'll figure that out. And as we, grow, those things will change, and we'll have the ability of, mailing stuff back and forth if need be. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys chit chat in here a little bit before I end the broadcast. I want to thank you guys all for all your support and love, and have a blessed day. Thank you.